that?
September 20th.
On the agenda?
Yeah.
Having a rough.
Hey,
I'm starting to lose bandwidth, I'm not gonna lie.
I think we just all started changing our clocks, and that affected our
Yeah, I'm gonna be all out of whack
equilibrium,
this week.
and we're all off.
We're all set, you wanna start?
Great, thank you, Janae. Okay, everyone, we're gonna, call to order the Troy Industrial Development Authority, November 1st, 2024 board meeting. It is, 10:04 a.m. We are starting off the day with a public hearing regarding the Troy 1818 LLC project. When we open up the floor for this, I just ask that anyone that would like to speak, step a little closer to the table and speak loud enough so people that might be listening in or looking back on this can hear you. Introduce yourself, where you're from, or if you're here representing a company or anyone like that. And we haven't really had issues in the past with people running over on time, so I'll keep an eye on the clock, but just try to limit it to around 3 minutes. And appreciate everyone coming. We will start by opening that up. I think, let me just confirm. Yeah. Would anybody like to, well, the floor is open for public hearing if anybody would like to speak.
I'm here on behalf of the Rensselaer County Regional Chamber of Commerce. My name is Lucas Twilliger. I just wanted to share some facts and highlight the importance of an exciting new development project being proposed here today. We're pleased to share an ambitious project that will breathe new life into our community here in Troy. For the past 5 years, a deteriorating suburban-style bank branch has stood vacant, but that's about to change. In its place, Rosenblum Companies is introducing a beautifully designed 4-story apartment building, thoughtfully scaled to fit the neighborhood and designed with contextually appropriate materials and architectural design. This project is more than just a building. It's a commitment to improving our community in every way. It's creating safer sidewalks that are free from curb cuts and interruptions, with enhanced lighting and new landscaping to make the area more walkable and inviting for everyone. In addition to aesthetics, this development aligns directly with the goals of our city's Realize Troy Comprehensive Plan and Recoding Zone initiatives, driving forward our collective vision for a fully developed, thriving city of Troy. This new apartment building will bring high-quality, affordable housing to the market, designed to support professionals in regionally vital and underemployed industries. By doing so, we're making it easier for local companies, healthcare providers, and emergency services to attract and retain the talent that they need to continue to serve us all. This project represents a substantial $22 million in new direct investment into our city, with an estimated $2.34 million in cumulative new net annual spending. Beyond that, it'll create around 21 permanent direct, indirect, or induced jobs, contributing an estimated $812,000 annually. But that's not all. We're excited to announce that this building, known as the 1818 Bath House, will be the first all-electric, zero-emission multifamily building in Troy, utilizing advanced, fully electrified systems such as heat pumps, smart controls, and energy recovery ventilation, along with a highly efficient airtight building envelope. This design is designed to meet the rigorous standards of Bath House Institute US CS Core certification. This commitment to sustainability and energy efficiency has earned 1818 a spot as a round 3 winner in the prestigious Buildings of Excellence competition, an honor administered by the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA. The building will have minimal impact on our city's utilities and infrastructure, with a rooftop solar PV photovoltaic system to offset electrical grid demand, helping us make strides toward our city's eco-innovative district goals. Finally, Rosenblum Companies is proud to partner with Victorious Life Church to develop a new pocket park on 5th Avenue, just north of the property. This will bring nice green space to our community. This project is more than just an apartment building. It's a significant investment in the future of Troy. They're building a community where people want to live, work, and thrive, and we're doing it in a way that respects our environment, enhances our city, and supports our residents. And we've, as a chamber, we've heard numerous organizations bring forth ideas for this property. And I should say that Jeff and his team have put forth a more comprehensive project that is future forward-looking more so than any of them. So we're proud to support them and any, economic impact, opportunities that this wonderful city is. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
Jeff, do you want to mention these support letters?
Yeah, I was gonna make sure we get to these before we close that out. Would any other members from the public present today, like to speak, or anyone that's might be streaming? I don't think we have anyone right now.
Yeah, Jesse Tranbeck, Berkshire Hathaway Commercial, in support of the project. Just in general, more so looking at the landscape in Troy. Currently, we're seeing a lot of shuttered restaurants, businesses, things of that nature. I think it's very important that all of us look at density in our downtown to get more feet on the street, more dollars circulating around the downtown corridor, servicing the bars, restaurants, and entertainment that we also enjoy. And, Troy's always been a heart for a lot of us here. That's why we're all here today. And the fact that it remains so walkable and we have the opportunity to really put forth an amazing project. I mean, this is a very forward-looking project, which you guys all just heard. I think it's incredibly important that we continue to support those projects. I mean, this is a building that we all can be proud of, and there's no better landlord and owner to do it. So, fully support the project, absolutely.
Thank you, Jesse.
Hey, John from Russell State College. We're here to support that as well, and it's a great opportunity for having excellent housing through this neighborhood, and it'll also help opportunities for employees at Russell State too to have very nice housing in the Troy area.
Thank you, John.
Lizzie Honan representing the Troy Savings Bank Music Hall. We are also in support of this project for the economic drive that it will bring to downtown Troy and really bringing residents into our vibrant area in proximity to the arts and cultural destinations previously mentioned. So we are in support of this project that will further advance the downtown area.
Hi, my name is David Nathaniels. I'm COO at Bellin Studios. We're a Troy business. We've been in the heart of downtown Troy for the last 8 years. We employ about 100 folks, the majority of whom work on site during the day, even after the pandemic downtown. We're hiring 20 to 30 individuals in the next year, and we've been hiring, we've grown from 6 to 100 people in downtown Troy over our lifespan. And we often hire young professionals, folks right out of school or in their 20s or 30s, looking to move to the area, to relocate to the area, and they find housing local to our studio in downtown Troy. It's sometimes a challenge for them to find housing and be able to be a local resident 24/7 in downtown Troy. And projects like this are the type of projects that make it easier for us to hire and attract talent to the area from around the country and relocate to Troy and the capital region. So in addition to all the wonderful things about the specifics of the building project, we're in support of this to continue to help grow the community and grow our studio in the local area and have housing for our employees who really want to have a creative hub as young professionals in a vibrant city to live and work in. So in support of this project.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm always a big fan of Rosenblum projects. He ticks all the boxes, thinks through it so thoroughly, environmentally, beautification of the city, collaboration and integration of design, and the fact that it's micro apartments, which is quite unique and applicable to the population. I am with NEI Platform in real estate, but also I am a resident, so I will actually be very close neighbor to the folks that will be living here. So absolutely, highly behind this project.
We also have 2 letters that, out of respect for the folks that have sent them, I will read in full. We have from Matt Callahan, property owner, community stakeholder in downtown Troy, and Vice President and General Manager, Tri-City Valley Cats. He's written, "Dear members of the Troy Industrial Development Authority, I'm writing to express my strong support for the 1818 Passive House project. As a downtown Troy property owner, community stakeholder, and business operator, I believe that this is an ideal project to support for the city and region at large. With continued development in digital gaming, technology, and innovation-related industries, projects like this will help Troy attract more individuals and businesses to the downtown corridor. The recent announcement of increased investment in nanotech across the river provides both Troy and the region at large with an opportunity to grow in population. The relationship between these sectors and the city's educational institutions offers the potential for a consistent flow of jobs and new residents. In order to improve the ability of local companies in all industries to attract and retain employees, Troy needs to offer more and different types of housing. This project fits that mold with affordable, high-quality apartments. The 1818 Passive House project will also create an influx of potential new residents and jobs in the community. This will help to increase positive traffic in the neighborhood and spending in local businesses. With the recent closure of several small businesses downtown, this is an opportunity to help reverse that tide. This will take a deteriorating building that has been vacant for 5 years and turn it into a significant positive for the city. As the first zero-emission multifamily building in the city, this project aligns with the city's stated goal to form an eco-innovation district. This is a unique opportunity to create a model of sustainability for future development in Troy. I believe that the Troy Industrial Development Authority should support the request for financial assistance on this forward-thinking project, as it will improve our urban community. Thank you for your time and consideration. Again, that was Matt Callahan, resident and community stakeholder. And, sorry, Lizzie, but someone else reached out from... Do you want to read this one? No, I'm just kidding. So we have John Elbaum, the Executive Director of the Troy Savings Bank Music Hall, has written, "Dear members of the Troy Industrial Development Authority, on behalf of the Troy Savings Bank Music Hall, I'm writing to express our enthusiastic support for the 1818 Passive House project. As a long-standing cultural institution within the Troy community, we are deeply invested in efforts that enhance the sustainability, livability, and economic vitality of our city. The 1818 Passive House project represents an exciting step forward in Troy's ongoing commitment to green building and sustainable urban development. Passive house design is not only innovative, but aligns with the city's goals for reducing energy consumption, lowering environmental impact, and promoting healthy living spaces for our residents. The energy efficiency inherent in passive house design will help reduce operational costs for building occupants, a benefit which in turn supports affordability and long-term viability for downtown Troy's diverse population. This project is ideally located in proximity to the downtown arts and cultural corridor, where it promises to further stimulate foot traffic and bolster the economic success of nearby businesses, including our own historic venue. The addition of modern, sustainable housing in the area will help attract both new residents and visitors, ultimately enriching the community and its vibrant cultural landscape. We commend the developers for prioritizing sustainable construction practices and urge Troy Industrial Development Authority to support their request for financial assistance to make this project a reality. This development reflects the forward-thinking, environmentally conscious values that are helping to transform Troy into a model for sustainable, livable urban communities. Thank you for considering our support for the 1818 Passive House project. We look forward to seeing the positive impact it will have on our city, both now and for generations to come." Again, that was John Elbaum, the Executive Director of Troy Savings Bank Music Hall. So I just took those on, but if anyone else is here, sorry if I stole your spotlight if you were about to stand up and speak. Otherwise, we will be concluding our public hearing portion of our meeting. Last call. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Obviously, I think I know why you guys are here, so if you feel like staying, you're going to have to get through some more agenda items. Sorry. Not sorry. Okay. Public hearing concluded. On to approval of the minutes from the September 20th, 2024 board meeting. I was not here for this, so I can't vote, and I don't think Albert was either. Otherwise, if you were here, do we have enough people to approve them?
Might need to table.
We're going to have to table, yeah, we're going to have to table this one until the next meeting. So that's quick. So on to item number 3, the Executive Director's Report with Randy.
Okay, thank you. Well, since I last gave a report, what I've been spending most of my time on is the 1818 Passive House. I'm feeling pretty lucky today because this was my first opportunity to negotiate a pilot working with the Rosenblum Company. I'll say it was a good experience, and I think we came to agreement on a pilot that is good both for the project and the Rosenblum companies, as well as for the city of Troy. I worked on this in cooperation with the Finance Committee, Albert and Jeff, and got a lot of good counsel from Justin, so thank you very much. But I guess the details of it will they be discussed in the resolution?
Yeah, when we get to that part of the
Right.
the agenda, we can address any questions, go through the cost-benefit analysis, and the board and Jeff certainly can, you know, ask and answer any questions you guys think need to be asked.
So I won't go through the details, just to say, again, that's one of the things that I've been working on since last report. The other thing is, I think it was 2 meetings ago, where I sort of floated the idea of requesting of this board some financial support for us to get an IT consultant on board to help us with, help us as well as the planning department with doing, using better technology to do applications and reports, online forms that have more advanced functionality that would allow us to integrate it into our data management systems. At the time, I had been talking with a firm that I had worked closely with at Empire State Development, and who now continues to provide this service to Empire State Development for a lot of the forms and applications and reports that they do at that agency. Nonetheless, there is a procurement process, and so I've been working to figure out who all the competitors are, what other companies are out there, and I have talked with one other firm, and I have an interview with a third firm, and I will be prepared next month, or actually in a couple of weeks, to put forth a more formal proposal, again, seeking financial support for us to be able to implement that project.
What type of money are you talking?
We're talking on the order of just to have an account with whether it was Form Router, which was one of the firms, and JotForm is another firm. It's an annual subscription of anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. That's kind of like the base price, but we're going to need some training. We may initially need some of their professional services to help us onboard these forms and get folks trained in using them. So, you know, that'll add cost to it, and how much cost it adds will depend on how much professional services we need.
So is this like one shared seat or individual seats for the planning department?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So usually when there's some type of software, there's, you know, some type of login access,
Right.
some way to access it, is
Right.
that $5,000 to $8,000 for one subscription, or would
Right.
you have to get multiple?
Right. Well, it varies between the two companies I've talked to so far. One company, it's like you get 5 users. And by users, they mean basically people have access to the account. With the other one, you get one login, but you can share it with as many people as you want. But there's like details. It's trying to get these on a apples to apples comparison is the homework I need to do before the next meeting.
Is that because it may turn into going out to bid as opposed to proposal?
I'd prefer to, prefer to be able to just select someone, but if we have to go through the bid process, you know, obviously we would, but the objective was to actually get this in place this year so that we could do the annual reports for the IDA this year using this technology.
So this software will include applications, the whole gamut, like from application to the end, like reporting for this board?
No, all this technology is just it's forms technology. It's so like right now when we do the annual reports, participants in the program fill out a form. It's a fillable form, you know, it's a PDF, but we just basically stick it in a file. We don't have the data that then can migrate to a in this case, we want it to go to Microsoft SharePoint. So we have the data as well as the form. And then we can, it eliminates all the clerical work involved with taking the forms data, put it into a spreadsheet, and then getting it ready for the authority budget office because we have to upload it to their system. So it's really designed to automate more of the process that we've got in place now.
Would it give you, do you suspect it would give you the opportunity to like we look at this annually, but the goal being that you'd be able to look at this, if you wanted to, every meeting, you could bring a recap?
Yes.
Like it's just a little easier to see it like live, if that's the right sense of it?
Yep. And for us to be able to just respond to questions. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
No more executive director's report?
No, that's it.
Okay. On to new business, which I don't think we really have any. Everything falls into the old business category, so we'll go right into old business. We are starting with, we got 4 projects to look at today, mostly with updates, but we are here voting on a project authorizing resolution for the Troy 1818 LLC project, which is located at 1818 Fifth Avenue. If we want to take it off between you two guys.
I can frame the issue, and then if we get a motion in a second, then we can have questions and discussion if you'd like. Yeah, the project authorizing resolution we have prepared for today is the final step along the road for consideration and approval of financial assistance for the project that we heard support for in the public hearing. Generally described, it's 71 units of apartments, micro studio and 1 bedrooms located at 1818 Fifth Avenue. The project is structured to be 25% affordable with income standards approved by the City of Troy. The IDA is being asked to support the project in the forms of financial assistance that include mortgage recording taxes, sales and use taxes, and a pilot agreement. As Randy referenced, we had a rigorous back and forth and positive engagement with the Rosenblum companies to arrive at a proposed pilot that they're comfortable with, Randy's comfortable with, and the Finance Committee closely worked with Randy and I to review and bring to this point. The cost-benefit analysis that outlines the amount of financial assistance is attached in your package. If you have any questions on those or would like details from the sponsor of the project, now's the time. And then if you're comfortable, a first and a second and a roll call would get us to the finish line. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
So let's open it up to the board for questions or comments. Anybody would like to review anything?
I'm just intrigued by the term micro units and the appeal. Why is that?
Jeff, you're up.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to address that. So
Micro in our market's a little bit different than I'd say macro, where these have been popularized in other markets. Our studios, our smaller studios is really the word, the other way to call it micro, are 450 to 500 square feet. So, you know, they are space efficient, really designed for single occupancy, but very comfortable. So 9-foot ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows, in-unit washer dryer, full kitchen. So you're not really sacrificing anything other than they're smaller units really designed for a single occupancy, and that has enabled us to hit a lower price point from a standpoint of the rent. That was sort of the method of the madness, which I can certainly delve into deeper. But we're also in a highly amenitized building, so we're providing things like we're a pet-friendly building. There will be a pet wash station for folks. You know, there's a bike storage room, which also speaks to the sustainability of the building and include that's encouraging more use of micromobility and alternative transit. Within our amenity package, we actually provide a free universal access pass for access to the whole CDTA system as well. So again, really trying to find a more walkable, more efficient lifestyle, and part of that comes back to the efficiency of the space. I will also comment that the smaller studio really is aided in terms of livability and health by the environmental performance targets of the building. So the building uses what's called energy recovery ventilation, and we're completely air sealing basically each unit. So they're really very tight in terms of you're not breathing somebody else's air, you're not breathing fumes or smells from the hallway, and we're continuously replacing stale air with filtered fresh air. So it's a much healthier and also humidity stable building. So again, just in a smaller space, it still feels like a really nice and enjoyable space. Also quieter with all that extra insulation and air sealing. These buildings are quieter. Actually, we had, I think I mentioned this the last time we were here, with our building downtown, which is in downtown Albany Industry, which is our first all-electric multifamily building. Actually not built to the same rigorous standards that this building will. It's an Energy Star certification, which basically means that it has a very high energy performance, but we'll actually almost double that with this building. I love to have those people stand in the lobby when they come, because we're right on Broadway, again, right on a bus line. That's a big focus for us. And I just ask people just to listen. And it's a very quiet building. So it is about really balancing out those beneficial byproducts of this high energy efficiency, low demand building with the enjoyability and experience of our tenancy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where are you at with the specialized training for the labor?
Oh, good question. So I think I mentioned our third in-house project manager, who will be our owner's rep to the work, is in the middle of his passive house builder certification. Our two other in-house project managers already have that certification. And we actually did this on our last project. It's pretty comprehensive. So we will have a general contractor. Part of our RFP requirements are looking at, are obviously mandating the performance to passive house, and then working with our passive house consultant, because it's a bigger team to deliver these projects, to develop on-site mentoring and training for labor. We'll be bringing some of those contractors back, actually. So some of them have already had experience with some of the detailing, the air sealing that we need to do for this type of building. We'll do everything from mock-ups on site. We'll do weekly toolbox talks with our contractors to walk through the different detailing. Our passive house consultant and our third-party verifier will be on site regularly at different sort of points of work completion to inspect that work, to get feedback to the contractors and bring them along. That's sort of within the context of this project. A little bit beyond that, we're very active in conversations with BOCES and other organizations about how we can, and with labor actually, and how we can get more of this type of training into those early stages. So we at the high school level, or at the, even the college, Hudson Valley Community College and some of the others that have builders programs. So, part of our effort really is training and making it possible for the area workforce to become better at doing these projects, with the hope that more people will do these projects. It's a hurdle for us, but it clears the way for others.
Thank you.
I got a question about the the rates, the rental rates for the affordable housing and the market units. What's the range for the affordable housing? How many bedrooms and the market units? The 75% market. What's the bedroom? Well, the size for the market units and the rents there.
Sure. So most of the building are studios. That's our predominant mix within the building, again, because they're designed to meet the needs of our folks. I'm actually pulling up our exact numbers, so I don't give you incorrect information. So bear with me for a sec. But that's right on the first page, of course it is. So we have what I would say more than half of the units, 39 of the units, are the small studios. Then we've got 19 studios, 9 one-beds and 4 two-beds. So we are trying to create a bit of a mix of unit types in the building. 25% is the minimum standard, but right now we're about 30% of the units of the studios will be available for a rate that's equivalent, a max rate that is equivalent to about 65% AMI. So it's a pretty aggressive affordability target. We're trying to line that up, and we had a lot of really good dialogue with Randy and the team about making that meaningful in terms of looking at where starting salaries are for a lot of young professionals. I believe I might have referenced this in the last meeting, so forgive those who heard it, but you know, we started the project design, we were looking very intensively at various workforce studies, but in particular the Capital Region Economic Development Council's workforce study of a few years ago. And what we recognized, one, there's an interesting, and it's just one comment, but it tells the tale, which is a lot of the employer surveys said there's not enough housing to meet their recruitment needs. And you kind of heard that from David and Belen, you know, here in downtown Troy. Belen is part of one of several of the sort of next tech hubs that the Capital Region Economic Development Council and CEG have focused on, these sort of important growth industries, and that's IT, digital gaming, it's clean energy, mostly anchored at the Port of Albany and Queens with wind energy. It's pharmaceuticals, so Regeneron is a big presence in this market. And when you look at the starting salaries for what they identified 16 high growth occupations. These are the occupations that are needed to feed the pipeline to continue growing those focal industries. At the average rental rate in the Capital Region, which is over $1,500 now, approaching $1,600, at those starting salaries for 9, so more than half of the target industries, those individuals would be rent burdened to severely rent burdened. So that was sort of the axis of how we would kind of come to a rent that would help with that economic development, provide a landing spot. And then the reason for the studios, again, was to sort of balance out how we could, at the end of the day, really balance out the cost of building the project, the cost of maintaining the project, and also offering a high-quality living experience, an attractive living experience for these individuals, at the same time that we could get an appropriate density in the building to make the overall financials work. Obviously, it does not work without the assistance of the IDA, but that was sort of the focus. Now, it's not just those industries. Healthcare, at last count, we probably had 4,500 to 4,700 vacancies in healthcare. Anybody who's had to go to the Albany Med emergency room recently has probably experienced that, you know, those 8 to 16-hour waiting times. You know, that's a huge issue in our region. So providing a place for the lab technicians and nursing assistants also at that salary level. Fire, police, EMS also fall into that category. So kind of coming back, so that's where we're targeting those rents to be below that threshold, that 65% for about 30% of the units, and then it kind of steps up. And we did provide some other market rate opportunities that are more standard rents, the ones and the twos.
So what's your estimated monthly rent?
So our maximum first year rent, $1,340 was the max rent at 65% AMI.
Does that include electricity and all?
So it doesn't include utilities. So we're looking, that's again the max rent. So we're still trying to see if we can get below that threshold, but and make that kind of a total. What we do in our buildings is we offer what we call a total home package. So we're basically, rather than having our residents have to go out and seek get internet from one provider, electric from another provider. We bundle everything into a lower cost package, and that provides them with easy access to all of their utilities and amenities, and they just pay that with their rent, that makes it a lot more efficient, a lot more convenient, and more affordable. And it's also an opportunity for them to participate in the benefit of the energy savings from the building.
Any other questions? That's good. Defer to the chair, but if you want to move the resolution and get a second, and then maybe Danae can do a roll call.
Okay, I'm gonna start by putting on the table the resolution of the the resolution of the Troy Industrial Development Authority appointing Troy 1818 LLC as its agent to undertake a certain project, more fully described below, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agent agreement, lease back agreement, payment in lieu of tax agreement, and related documents with respect to the project, and authorizing the provisions of certain financial assistance to the company as defined further. Adopting findings with respect to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SEQR, and authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the project. So, do we have a motion for the project resolution?
I'll make the motion.
One second.
Okay.
I got a question, over the term of the pilot, do you annually collect, financial information? Or I think we should start collecting financial information on these projects.
This one will be collecting annual rent, so we can verify the affordability each year. So this one will actually receive more income information than most projects.
And one of my concerns when we were talking about this in Finance Committee was the operating statement that they gave us. I think we should be getting appraisals on these projects too.
We get informal quotes from the assessor, but
the market study and everything. I mean, we should get a full appraisal on these projects.
Okay.
Do you want to do it a roll call fashion?
Yeah, we can take the vote.
Want me to do it?
Sure.
Beth?
Aye.
Brian is absent. Albert?
Aye.
Sorry?
Yes, yes,
Yep.
yes.
Lucille?
Aye.
Stephanie Fitch?
Aye.
Natasha? Aye. Alice is also absent. Michael?
Aye.
That's it.
Carries. Congratulations.
Thank you all. I'm very excited to keep you up to date on our progress. So thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
R&M Holdings, remind me.
DeFazio's.
Right.
Our long-awaited pizzeria. Just as a quick update, they closed with the IDA back in 2021. Some folks may remember, some folks might. Oh. They closed with us in 2021 and then encountered some environmental remediation issues in that older building that they took over on 4th Street. And they were still kind of in the tail of COVID, so things kind of hit a bit of a pause, but they are now, today at noon, closing with Trustco Bank for their additional construction financing to get the project finished by spring. So we've extended their sales tax exemption, which they hadn't even used yet, and the IDA is providing a mortgage recording tax on their financing that's closing today. So it's just an update from the board. No vote is necessary, but it's generally good news that that project that was supposed to be done in 22 is going to be done in 25. So.
The extension was through the end of this year.
The extension for sales tax is through the end of June, just so they can get everything wrapped up and equipped.
environmental issues like asbestos abatement
I
type
think
stuff?
they had some tanks in one side of the building, that there was something that kind of came up as a surprise and an expensive one, so I got through that. So that's that one.
Hendrick Hudson.
Yeah. 200 Broadway, the Hendrick Hudson building is owned by the Bonaccio companies. The IDA has a current pilot agreement on that building that was intended to be predominantly commercial spaces with a little bit of apartments in a couple floors. Through a series of vacancies, including, I think, the State Attorney General's office left that building. They've been struggling to re-tenant it in a commercial fashion, so they've gone through the planning board or commission, then board, and they're prepared to move forward by adding 27 apartments within a couple of the floors that are currently commercial. They have the application mostly complete. We were looking to get it added today, but it may take a little bit more time just to get all of the relevant information gathered together for things like Albert is looking for, that kind of background financials. So and we'll discuss where we're going to land in November for a meeting. It's likely that that'll come to you, so.
Owns that?
Bonaccio's, Sonny Bonaccio, that team. So that's that update, just as an FYI that it's coming. And then Art LLC, which is the American Theater project. They had previously come through us twice, most recently with an approval and haven't closed yet. That one, as you might recall, involves the use of historic tax credits and has kind of a complicated structure. And they're looking for various state grants and support. And more recently, the geothermal project that the LDC is leading has fortunately included this particular project to be one of the key users. So they've redesigned their utilities, and they've had, through dialing in the course of time and realities, increased project costs. So they're also putting together an updated application that should come to us in the next couple of weeks for consideration. We kind of have to go through the process again. It went from a $4 million project to a $7 million project. So they're going to come through our process again just to make sure that we dot our T's and cross our I's, I guess. But we'll have another public hearing most likely before the end of the year. And that one is targeted to close, I think, by the second quarter of next year once they get all of their state and federal grants and the engineering all done. So those are the updates.
We were just having this conversation before the meeting started. I mean, we're due for a meeting on the 15th. I mean, it sounds like we're trying to get these folks back in here. Do you want to, would that work, or do you want to push to the 22nd?
It's up to you folks, I think, in terms of the board. Thanksgiving is later this year, so in terms of people's schedules, whether the 15th or the 22nd works better, Danae will coordinate it. So maybe now, if anyone looks at their calendars or has a preference, if it is the 15th, I think we can rally the troops and get those two ready. If the 22nd works better, then there's another week there. So I think you were saying you might want to benefit from a little bit of time for your quotes on your financial systems and your reporting.
Yeah, but I could get it ready for either one.
Okay.
Just be prepared for scheduling questions coming soon, everyone. But not 2 weeks off, that's good. We'll be back on track. I guess that concludes, does any members of the board have any questions on any of these items? Moving on to finances. On to financials with Matt.
Our first report is statement of financial position. As of September 30th, we had total assets of $1,550,544. $1,158,992 of that in cash. We had total liabilities of $583,471, which left us with a fund balance of $967,073. There's no significant changes to the statement of financial position from September. Our second report is the statement of activity. For the month of September, we had a deficit of $293.97. with our most significant source of revenue being our interest from our bank accounts, and the largest expense being in our professional services.
Can you just go over the liability, well, due to other government, that's the city of Troy, right?
Yeah, so that's the pilot payments that we've collected.
Okay.
And did not remit at the end of September, but they have since been remitted.
And
As of the end of October, we only have 3 open pilots that have not paid.
Do we have an aging list on those, who they are?
yeah,
So they are Chestnut Burr, LLH Ferry, and R&M Holdings.
how past due are they?
Those were due October 1st.
Oh, okay.
All three?
And the case of that.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's for Matt, but I have a question, the MLOC, parcel, does anybody have a date on that?
Yeah, it's the parcel of land between 701 River Street and the actual river that the IDA acquired, and part of it was subdivided off and is now 701 River's parking lot. And there's an interpretive trail, I think, along the riverside. We continue to own it. I think the original plan was to dedicate it to the city or transfer it to the city. That loop hasn't been closed yet, but
That's still the plan, or?
I don't know. The IDA doesn't need a park. The city might benefit from it better. I don't know if that's been discussed with the administration.
I thought that's what, well, Steve was still here, I thought that was
The ultimate plan was
Yeah.
to get it off our books and onto the cities. That could be renewed. Carryover that wasn't on your list yet, but congratulations.
Sorry, Randy.
Add something to your plate. But it'd be good to get it off our books just for liability purposes, and it's an asset that we don't necessarily need, so the city could incorporate that into the, what is the name of the landing there, the little, Ingalls Avenue Boat Launch, yeah, it's kind of a part of that, more or less, yeah.
Do you have to carry insurance on it?
We have insurance, yeah, on it, so that would eliminate the need for liability or casualty there for sure. We don't have any other land assets at the IDA level.
So what's the address on this again?
next to 701?
It's Ingalls Avenue,
Yeah.
President Street, I think. 701 River, if you drive behind their parking lot, everything that falls down behind their parking lot to the river, the IDA owns, I think, about 1.2 acres, something like that.
Field trip?
Okay. Have our next meeting there, the weather's been nice.
But when I drive into work, I'll go up to Waterford and come back down.
Well, that concludes finances map, but we have to go into the budget. So do we have to approve this first and then go into budget, or do we, oh, sorry.
You should approve both.
Right, but do we have to vote on both, or do we vote together or separately?
You could do it as an omnibus.
Okay, we'll do both, yeah.
Do we have the budget in the packet here?
Yeah, it's on the last page.
Okay, got it.
So there wasn't many changes from the last meeting, with the draft budget. It was pretty flat. I will apologize now, I did find one error on my part in the professional service contracts. I did not include our annual, admin fee to the, city. That's probably gonna be like 120,000 additional.
So should we wait till next?
You can approve that as amended with that added. Is it 125 now that's paid each year? So that $80,000 number.
It's gonna be like 205.
Right. And that'll carry forward as an assumption for the future years.
Correct.
Where is that?
Right here.
Everything else is kind of consistent with prior years. I put 60,000 for other non-operating expenditures, wayfinding. We've been budgeting that we budgeted that for this year. I don't think we're going to spend it, so I kicked it forward to next year as well.
That would address the same sort of expenditure that Randy's gonna recommend at the next meeting for the systems. Fact. I don't know what line item that would fall in, but it should be budgeted for.
That into professional service contracts.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, services, yeah. But for now, it could be slotted down in the 60. Are you in, what, is that kind of the number-ish that you were talking about? I forget.
60?
No, for your IT project.
Yeah, no, that would be somewhere between, yeah,
10?
somewhere between 8 and, let's say, 20,000.
Okay, so it could fall within that
Yeah.
non-operating for now, yeah.
Investment earnings, based on what we're doing now?
Correct, based on what our average interest is for this month, this year, what our projected cash flow will be.
Because I think, we're at 30,000 right now.
Yeah, and I believe we'll get to about 39,000 by the end of this year.
Oh, okay. So is this for next fiscal year? 2025, is that what we're really?
Correct.
Okay.
Do we want to see those changes pushed to next meeting, or any more questions, or approve with these, amendments? A lot of things to track on there.
Question on the wayfinding, 'cause you brought that up, at another meeting, and is that 60,000? Yes, 60,000, is that what you're still estimating for that? The quotes were from years ago, right?
This is actually, this is news to me. This budget item is a wayfinding budget item?
We had a
What-
project
for
that we
what?
agreed to support a few years ago for wayfinding, and I'm not sure what the status of it is, or if we've even been invoiced for it, or if it's been fully planned even.
Well, we increased it earlier this year up to 72. Remember, we had, after we found out what the totals were and we got the Department of State grant, came back to the board to make sure the money was still earmarked, and
Right.
we increased it by like 12,000, I think.
I think so, yeah.
That-
Who's managing the actual project, and if they could give us a report?
Well,
This guy?
if this is wayfinding as I'm understanding it, which is the DRI project, it was estimated to be a $1.36 million project, which we have $360,000 from the state, but we've got to cover that difference. To be honest with you, I was unaware that the IDA had
I think
put
this
money
was for
into the
planning
project.
side. I don't know if it was hard dollars. It may have been for the planning and design phase.
Originally, it was for the planning and design, but then another agency had covered it. I think the CRS, right, through RPI, Troy Redevelopment Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So then we held ours, kept rolling it over until it came time to actually do the construction.
Okay. So some of your gap is there, but certainly not $1 million,
Well,
yeah.
but that's a big piece. That's good news. I wish I could have reported that to the council.
I would have welcomed it.
I
I don't think I could have made all of that up in my head, but now I'm nervous that, I could have swore that we upped the amount earlier this year. We talked about it.
Yeah, by like 50,000 or something,
Yeah,
yeah. And I
so
think
that's
Dylan helped get that updated shortly before I think you had stepped in, so another transition item.
Can we, since we're meeting again this month, postpone the vote on the budget so that we can double check?
Have the figures
Yeah,
updated.
I'd feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think
If that's okay with excuse me, if that's okay with everyone?
Yeah,
Sorry
definitely.
for the
It's already
extra
late,
questions.
so
I-
No, this is very illuminating.
Too much. No.
So then we'll just have to approve the finance?
Yeah, so we're just, voting to table the budget until the next meeting and to approve the financial statements for, is this October? Yes. No, as of September 30th. Jeez, sorry. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Albert, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. We just have the two absentees. On to adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you. One second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. On to, I don't know if there's really anything, this is gonna be an all-budget CRC meeting, it looks like. I'm going to call to order the, excuse me, Troy Capital Resource Corporation Board of Directors meeting. It is November 1st, 2024. It is 10:58 a.m. We are going to have to push the minutes again until the next meeting due to overlaps with absences. So we'll move into the Executive Director's report.
And I have nothing to report.
Okay, and no new business, and no old business. So on to finances met.
Our first report is statement of financial position. As of September 30th, we had total assets of $334,604, with $115,104 of that in cash. The total liabilities of $13,334, which left us with a fund balance of $321,270. There are no significant changes to the statement of financial position. And our second report is the statement of activity. For the month of September, we ran a deficit of $7,643.86. Our most significant source of revenue was our annual admin fees, and the largest expense was the payment to TAP Inc.
Any questions on the financial statements or on to the budget?
The $7,500 accounts payable was the TAP thing?
That was TAP.
Okay, all right, okay.
On to budget.
Right, so this budget, pretty simple. Again, kept everything mostly flat, based off of prior years. So we had a lot of interest income, annual admin fees for the income side, and then looking at audit, legal expenses, and multi-accounting fees. And then just down the grants and donations, just that's basically an average of what we spent the prior years on grants and donations.
On the grant, so based on this, do you think that the number for 2025 is a little too low based on what we've spent for 2024?
So I believe for 24, in that estimate, we had like a one-time grant. When I was looking back at it, I don't remember off the top of my head what that was.
The Charles Now project.
Well,
was a
looking
pretty-
at
that
our
was a
fund
big
balance,
outlier.
I don't know that we should carry 50 consistently.
That was it.
And we're done in about a year and a half, right?
We still do have the $215,000 receivable from the LDC as well.
With the LDC's HUD loan being paid off next year, we're certainly closer to balancing that out.
I mean, it would be helpful to go into the year with a budget in mind, so we don't overshoot it. I mean, not that we didn't do that, but if you're suggesting amending the grants and donations to keep that into consideration, would you suggest anything?
Well, generally, you want to make sure that you're carrying about 3 years of budget as a fund balance in case you have no equity. Expense cycle 2 or 3 times. So if that includes a $50,000 grant item, you know, you're 2 years from emptying the tank if we don't have like a new RPI financing, for example, or something that is one of the major revenue generators for the CRC. So just food for thought. You might want to crank that down, and that may temper some of the requests that come in and inform you as to, when you get a $70,000 grant request, you could say, our budget is this. I think you responded to a dialed-in request for the circus. I think that was a little bit of they came in with one number and you responded with something that was more inside budget, but it's just food for thought.
I mean, any,
So are you suggesting lower than the 44?
Is that what's carried right now? There was
Yeah.
50
Yeah.
in this year's that we exceeded.
Yeah, so it decreased by about 10.
Yeah, I would, something like 30 is more sustainable. Until, again, there might be an opportunity, whether, SAGE or, RPI or another not-for-profit might have a debt need. The hospital is now a part of the Trinity system, so we've kind of lost the opportunity to support them because they do it nationwide instead of local bond issuers. So it's kind of opportunity-based for revenue really to come into the CRC, depending on other people's needs to go borrow large amounts of money.
So until if we reach that point where we have other avenues, we should just reduce it to the sustainable.
Right, yeah, kind of thin it down and kind of have a small footprint for a while in terms of,
I completely agree.
I mean, the recurring, it seems, there's a consistent of things that come across.
You're always going to have accounting and a little bit of legal and...
Oh, I mean, like, for for this
grants.
purpose, it's typically the Powers Park
Neighborhood improvement grants.
neighborhood improvement grants, and there's usually something, I mean, the circus is a newer thing, but then there's also the center of gravity.
Right.
The odd things this year were the TAP and the Charles Now thing. So I think, I mean, if we were in the 30s or even as low as 30, I think we'd still be able to fulfill
Cover the core.
people who are,
Yeah.
Loyal to this and we see, community effect with, but
And maybe even improve more of the smaller grants, because I noticed that with the neighborhood grants, let's say they asked for 1,500, but they got 500 or 750 or something like that, so.
Just more
Yeah.
impact to the organizations, and the council's always been a partner that this organization has supported for the neighborhood grants.
What quarter do you expect
Appreciate
the $215,000 to be paid?
We have to look at the LDC budget. I know the pressure that it's been experiencing for 15 years has been the HUD loan that it's carried for King Fuels, which gets paid off next August, I think. So the ability to move that 215 over, I think, is more realistic inside 25. And we could probably sketch out the rent income from National Grid and from Water Street and kind of target when we'd be able to, again, comfortably move that money and then have sustainable budget. As we move through the NYSERDA thing with geothermal, there may be an opportunity to retain some of that CAT-C grant funds and maybe utilize some of those once they're reimbursed.
So it sounds like not until like the end of next year.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And there may be a transaction on King Fuels that accelerates the whole thing. Again, that's opportunity-based because we're in the middle of that remediation with National Grid. So as they release lands that are cleaned up, it gives the LDC the opportunity to talk to someone who wants to buy it or facilitate a project that ironically will come back to the IDA as well. So it's all kind of circular.
well, 30K holds us pretty tight to getting 3 years, but it does, and then we can take it. It'll incentivize us to keep pushing on the LDC side and everything else. So I would suggest adjusting it to 30, and unless if people come in and pull our heartstrings, it's gonna
We'll take up a
all that.
collection.
Yeah, all that could change, but I guess my ask would be to adjust it for 25, 26, 27 to reflect 30,000, if that's okay with everyone, and then we can vote on that. And unless there's any other questions on the budget and financial statements. Okay, so we're gonna vote forward to approve the September financial statements and approve a budget with one amendment that the grants and donations be adjusted to 30,000 going forward. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Sasha, all in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, and just our absence. Great.
That was the financials on the budget, right?
With the amendment.
And we'd like to put the motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, and all in favor?